Hi, welcome to Striving to Be the Best. I'm Andy Hill, Superintendent of the Wadsworth City School District, and I'm joined today by Dr. Vincent Suber, our high school principal. Our topic today is to learn a little bit about Wadsworth High School, what's happening there, and anything else Dr. Suber would like to share with us. So maybe just a moment, Vincent, if you could tell us a little bit about your background and how many years you've been part of our administrative team here.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been teaching for, I just say over 20 years now, I'm not sure the exact number, but I started my career, I started in Cleveland for a year, then I taught at Copley Fairlawn City Schools as a teacher for about 10 years. Then I was a principal in Streetsboro District for about 7 year, and now this is year 4 as the high school principal in Wadsworth.
Time flies.
It does.
It's hard to believe it's already year 4 that you've been with us. You've been a great addition to our team, Vincent.
Thank you.
So speaking of administrative teams, you have a lot of new members at the high school this year. We had Chris Seabra move on to become the principal at Triway High School. Carrie Hampshire moved on to become principal at Valley View Elementary here in Wadsworth. Brad Musgrave, our athletic director, retired. So I'm wondering if you could take a moment and tell us about the 2 new assistant principals and about our new athletic director.
Absolutely. So first of all, we do miss Chris and Carrie. They were just great additions. They did an excellent job. But I think the people we brought in are just wonderful. They're hard workers. They come with the special set of skills and knowledge that definitely helps our building, and I couldn't say more great things about them. But our one assistant, Mr. Rick Sullivan, he came to us from Ravenna. He was at the middle school there and was a high school teacher at Ravenna as well. But he's mostly in charge of our freshmen. So again, he runs the freshman orientation, has a lot to do with our freshman class. And then we hired Mrs. Allison Romano, who was a previous teacher in our building. So we promoted her to be our sophomore assistant principal. She deals with some of the things that sophomores go through. So for example, our career tech program that we're hosting pretty soon. She'll be running our Veterans Day assembly. So she does a lot of things with the 10th grade. And then Mr. Tim Campbell came to us from the University of Akron as a strength coach. Again, a great addition, great ideas. He's been kind of our leader with the whole sports and communication and getting things organized and set up, and he's just doing a wonderful job.
That's fantastic. We're glad to have them part of our team. They have fit in very nicely, and they each have unique skills, like you mentioned, that they've brought to us. And Allison brings a little bit of a family tradition. Her dad, Mr. Polya, was previously in your role as our high school principal years ago. Speaking though of Tim Campbell, you ended with talking about him as our athletic director. Can you tell us a little bit about how our fall athletic seasons are going?
Oh yeah, so they're coming to a close right now, but our teams are off to a great start in the postseason. So our football team finished 9-1, had a great year. They're now in the first round in the playoffs, so we're wishing them the best of luck. Then we have our soccer team and our volleyball team, who both last weekend finished as the district champions. So now they're in a regional round of the playoffs. Soccer plays Wednesday in the regional semifinals. Then our volleyball team plays Thursday in the regional semifinals. Hopefully they'll win and make it to the regional finals on Saturday. And then finally our cross-country team, our girls cross-country team, they were Suburban League champs, they were district champs, they were regional champs, and now they go to Columbus this weekend for state, and hopefully they can repeat the result of the previous 3 that they won before this year. So our fall sports are off to a great start. All of our athletes done a great job in every sport that we have, and we'll just continue to support them, wish them the best of luck in the postseason.
Yeah, that's outstanding. We have just so many opportunities for kids, and the kids never cease to amaze us, do they? With what they do. It's incredible. Can you tell us about maybe new opportunities for students this year? You know, we live in a community that is very supportive of their schools, and because of that support, we're able to offer a lot for kids. And so I know you and your team and everybody at the high school is always forward thinking, looking for what's the next opportunity for kids to meet their needs. So what's new?
Well, you're spot on. Like I said, we offer, we look every year at what we can offer, how we can better our school, better our students and their opportunities. The big one I want to share this year is we started an Esports program. That's kind of a thing, in case you're not sure what Esports are. That's basically you you try out for a team, and you play video games. So there's certain games that you can choose from, and you compete as a team, and you win certain games, you compete against other schools. That's probably the big new one we started this year. We're in the process of hiring a coach, but we're looking at things like equipment and labs and things like that. So we've done a lot of work. Our team at the high school done a lot of work as far as cost benefit analysis, who's going to run the certain programs, researching what games we're going to play. So it's been a lot of work to get that started. But we've had lots of students asking, hey, what's going on with Esports? Like, have you got Esports yet? And I said, we're coming. So we're hoping to get Esports up and running for the winter sports season. So like I said, we're interviewing some potential coaches this week, and hopefully we'll get an idea of kind of the vision they have for the program, what sports that they want to compete in, and why they want to compete in those sports. But when we have those things going, we're excited to start to roll that out and offer to our students.
Yeah, that's outstanding. I know that last year was our first venture into esports at the middle school level. Mrs. Cindy Beeman, our technology teacher at the middle school, was the coach, and actually that group won their state championship in their level and their game. I think Smash Brothers, if I'm not mistaken, is the game they played. So that, Cindy's been very helpful, along with Phil Luthman, Michael Kuth, part of our technology department, and others working with you to be able to bring that opportunity to the high school level. So we're excited to see where that goes. There's so much that's happening at Wadsworth High School. There's not a moment that it seems like most hours of the day that there's not some type of activity that's happening there and busting with people. When you think about all the stuff that happens in a given day in a school year, can you talk a little bit about what you're most proud of?
And honestly, and I say this every year, and it's funny because I kind of get emotional talking to my seniors about it, but honestly, watching our kids grow up, just seeing them from their freshman year to their senior year. So I've been for 4 years. So this is the first group at Wadsworth that I've seen go from freshmen and to go to seniors. And it really is amazing. Every day I'm just shocked to see just the maturation of just our students and how they grow, how they develop, and how they become adults. It really is a cool process. Like I said, and just in general, and I say this a lot, we just have awesome, awesome kids. We have an awesome, awesome staff. Everyone works hard. Our kids work hard. They do what we ask them to do, and they excel at almost everything that they do. And it's just the most, again, by far, is just I'm proud of our students. I'm proud of our students, how they trust us, they trust our teachers, they trust the process, and again, they always amaze us in everything that they do.
Yeah, we're very fortunate to have the kids that we do. It is amazing to see the different things that they're able to accomplish when we give them the agency to be able to do neat things and extend their learning. So let's talk a little bit about academics. You have a couple different avenues that you work with in your building to kind of continue to drive academics forward based off of where student needs are and interests and other things. I'm wondering if you could take a few minutes to talk about your academic council, what that group is, who's part of it, some things they're going to focus on this year. And then maybe if you could also talk about your department heads and what that looks like at the high school level and how both of those groups help to shape recommendations that ultimately get made to the Board of Education in regards to furthering course offerings and other things for kids.
Right. So first of all, with our academic council, we meet probably once every other month. I said hopefully we'll get a meeting here pretty soon. But the academic council consists of myself. I kind of lead the meeting. It consists of our superintendent, our assistant superintendent, Mr. Steve Moore. We have our school counselor, Lauren Ross, and then we have one of our board members, which the representative has been Mrs. Julie Beatty. So we kind of get together, and then teachers throughout the year come to me with different ideas. So hey, this idea we had for math, we want to add a new CCP course, Calculus 2 and 3, which is what we added last year. Or it could be, hey, we have a different pathway for graduation, so we want to offer this class, and we have different classes as far as pre-apprenticeship that we discussed in that room. We discussed things like one of the new ones, we have a multi-language pathway, a class that our incoming English as a second learner language kids take. So we now have, or multi-learner, again, so we have different venues. So we presented at that meeting. If a teacher wants to create a new class. They could complete a cost benefit analysis so we can see what the course is, what standards it's going to make, how that impacts staffing, is there any funding involved. So a lot of things go into adding a new class. But we've had very good discussions in there as far as, again, graduation seals we've discussed. I'm thinking of like the pre-apprentice pathway. We discussed CCP offerings, work study at release. So it's been a good group, and I can say too, after that meeting, we get a lot of support from the board when we offer those different classes. And what's great about it is that I think what's great about it is that there's a good dialogue with the conversation. And sometimes classes, they go great, they work. Sometimes we figure that we're not a great idea, and we go to the drawing board and try to revamp and improve what we wanted to offer in the first place. So it's just a real good group. And again, we meet, we collaborate, we discuss to create opportunities for our students. As far as the department heads, so we have a teacher who's in charge of each department. So we have our core subjects: English, math, science, and social studies. So we have those department chairs. Then we have a foreign language department chair. Then we have a career check department chair. Then we have a health and PE department chair. We have a fine arts department chair. We have a special ed department chair, counseling department chair. But we all sit in a room, we have an agenda every month, and we create and we discuss things that are best for our kids in our building. They're also my main source of communication to the staff. So we meet, we discuss, we make decisions, and then they communicate those decisions to their staff. Or they'll have things that their staff are doing. So for example, our last department head meeting last year, one of our math teachers, Mrs. Kurt, she actually found some different ways to find data, and she was able to present that to the department heads. There's some data sources I could find that you can use. So it's a group, and that's kind of as an important group because they make a lot of decisions for our building collaboratively, and they also communicate things out to their departments. And so if there's any concerns, they ask the department head, then it comes to us, and we discuss it as a department head team. And also the department head team also includes the four principals: myself, Mr. Berlin, Mr. Sullivan, Mr. Romano. So so we meet once a month for about an hour, and we just make decisions that are important for our building, and then we communicate that to the rest of the staff.
Very good. You mentioned fine arts in the department head. Wondering if you could talk a little bit about what we have going on in the fine arts, different opportunities for kids, and maybe if there's anything you'd like to highlight in regards to the fine arts.
Yeah, so we have different things. So again, I like to start again, we have performing fine arts, but then we have just, I guess, fine arts where I consider kind of our club. So for example, one of the clubs, Speech and Debate, who's been doing well for years now. We had our coach, Mr. Sam Zulia, recently step away, but our new coach, Mr. David Gailey, stepped right in their very first tournament that they hosted at Hudson. They won first place. So we have a very tradition-based speech and debate team who's done well for years. And then we have these different clubs throughout the year. So it ranges from chess club to art club to our spectrum club to our RPG club, role play games clubs. So we have just a variety of clubs that's going to be a part of as well. That are student ran and adult ran. And then we have our performing arts that we have between our choir and band. Then we have our plays, and so everyone does a great job performing. So some of the performers, so first of all, our choir and band. So our choir concerts are sold out every single time. I mean, if you haven't seen one, you need to go see one because they're colorful, they're bright, they're dancing, they're just doing a wonderful job. So they perform about 4 times a year. Our choir concerts, and then we have band, and band does a great job. First of all, they're busy all fall, so you see them every Friday at our football games with our marching band, and then after that they perform 3 performances after marching band seasons. So they're busy. So they have their marching band and they have their concert band, and we have 3 different levels of band who participate in that as well. In addition to, you'll have a night of show. They have about 3 concerts, but then when you add the night of percussion, when our percussion people play under the direction of Mr. Louie, and then we have our jazz band under the direction of Mr. Scott Formal, and then Mrs. Dana Heyer kind of leading the charge. They just do a great job. So between Mrs. Davis and her choir department, again, doing great. Our band doing great. And in fact, our band's traveling to Philadelphia and New York. They're actually performing in Philadelphia for the Thanksgiving Day parade, but they'll do some fun things in New York while they're there. So there's lots of different fun field trips that are going on. And our choir actually had a field trip today, which they sang at a group at another event. So they're always busy. They're always around the community. You'll see them out around Christmas time. They perform every year for the Chamber Conference and for the Lions Club. So they just do a great job in general. So that's just one form of the arts. And then we have our musicals. So we have this year we have one big musical that is Legally Blonde is what they're going to perform. And so that's important because we're focused on being one, because that's the one we're going to recommend for the Dazzle Awards. And if you've never been to Dazzle Award, it's just kind of like the Grammys. People dress real nice, people perform, and you can win a variety of awards because of that. So in addition to the musical, we have 3 plays. We have one coming up pretty soon, A Wrinkle in Time. So look out for that. So you can purchase tickets to see A Wrinkle in Time. And then around the holidays, we'll be showing a Christmas Carol. And then our comedy in the fall is going to be, Witches and Princesses. So I'm not sure what that's be about, but the comedies are typically a good time as you're able to go and catch that. So again, our arts, they're performing, they're moving. Mrs. Chalky does a great job. Mrs. Davis is part of that. Mrs. Lake's part of that. So just a team, Mrs. Pernod, Mrs. Baxley, they're just always working together to create the best environment for our students. And so our advisors do a great job and our kids do a better job performing.
Yeah, it's amazing to see what they're able to accomplish. It's a lot of fun to watch, a lot of pride watching the kids, and for our employees too that are involved, all of those ladies, just fantastic job working with our kids. I know this is focused on the high school, but I got to see the middle school musical this past weekend, Lion King Jr., and it's incredible to see what kids that age can do, and think about what their possibilities will be as they move into the high school in that program. So I want to transition a little bit. Friday is one of our biggest volunteer days at the high school level and the entire school year. So I thought maybe you could take a moment to tell us about the service hour requirement for students before they graduate, and then say a little bit about what this Friday is with the leaf raking day.
Yeah, so every senior at Wadsworth High School has to receive 10 hours of community service in our Wadsworth community. So it's part of the graduation requirement set forth by a Board of Education. It's also a graduation seal that they can get through the state of Ohio for community service. So it's kind of twofold. You get the seal and you fulfill a part of your graduation requirement. So what we do is our seniors, with the direction of Mr. Berlin, they pick groups and they combine 2 or 3 groups together and they go in the community and they rate the leads for senior citizens. So the senior citizens can sign up at Suprema. Mr. Berlin is the president of the Wadsworth Older Adults Foundation, so they were able to communicate, get him a list. We have about 195 yards that we're going to do this year. So we're in the process of having groups, collecting tarps and blowers, combining groups, and then finding teachers to have chaperones. And then this Friday, you'll see about 350 seniors out in the community raking leaves, blowing leaves from the tarps, putting them to the curb. And it's just a special event because, in my opinion, it's one of the biggest things we do as a high school that we're actually seeing out in the community. To see 350 kids throughout town is a special event. And so I drive around, go to different houses, different events, talk to the students. Every now and then I might rake or blow a leaf, and we give kids certain food and leftovers and things like that. But it's always a great time to talk to the teachers, the kids, and our community. They're just so thankful every time. So they're very thankful they come out and say hi to the kids. They talk to us while we're in the yard. So it really is a good event. event I think is great because it just shows our students being visible in the community. Our kids do get 5 of the 10 required hours for doing the event, so they're still responsible to 5 more on their own. But it's just a great event for our community. Our kids enjoy it, our teachers enjoy it, and we look forward to doing it again on Friday.
That's great. And we should say, depending on when people are actually watching this show, so it's this Friday, which is Friday, November 1st.
Yes.
Is it too late for somebody to get on the list if they watch this between today, the 29th?
It's not too late, but
so they should contact Suprema Senior Center.
Yes, we got to get going.
If you see this before the 1st and you have an interest on being added to the list, please contact the Suprema Senior Center. Vincent, anything else you'd like to share with us about the high school?
No, I mean, I just want to share that we just have a great staff, great students. We have also support by our central office and our Board of Education. It truly is a great place to be. I couldn't see myself being anywhere else. I enjoy every minute of being here, and I can't say enough how great our school is, our students are, our teachers are, our collaboration just in this building alone. Like I said, our collaboration with Suprema, with WCTV, the YMCA. I mean, it's just even SUMA, which is right down the hallway as well. It's just a great collaboration, a great community. Like I said, the support we get here is at times overwhelming. And again, I want to make sure I say something about our PTO, who's done a great job too, again, supporting us, providing certain just whatever we need. I want to give a quick example. We found out last year we were hosting a playoff football game. So we needed workers for 50-50, needed workers to sell programs, because we found out literally 2 days before, like Wednesday, that we were hosting on Friday. And the PTO mom showed up. It was cold outside, we layered up, and we all worked the event to make sure we had things covered. So just even little things like that. We need something right away, and people just show up. And so it's just, it's a great place to be, and I'm very glad to be here.
Yeah, I appreciate it. We're glad to have you here. And Wadsworth definitely is unique. You know, there's no doubt that the schools have all kinds of support, whether that's financially to allow these opportunities, or whether it's the overabundance of volunteers that we have. I think we have over 300-400 volunteers that the board annually approves that are in helping in some capacity in some way. And so, you know, it's small, but it's great to see our kids getting out with leaf raking and other volunteer opportunities to get out there as a way to say thank you to our community and all of our staff members and others that are part of different organizations within the community giving back as well. Wadsworth is a really unique place.
It is.
So that'll conclude this episode. This school year, for Striving to Be the Best, we're going to be focusing each episode on a different school. So our next school that we'll be focusing on with our next episode will be Wadsworth Middle School. So Mr. Roberts, the new middle school principal, and some others potentially from the middle school will be joining us for that next episode. Until next time, thank you, Wadsworth, for your continued support of our school district.
You are watching WCTV, Wadsworth Community Television.